spending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on. With the big man's intro there, what more can I say other than echo Ian Wright's thoughts? People deluded, I'm back again. International break or not, the content still has to keep ticking along. Appreciative to you lot tuned in. Do me a favor at the time of you watching this vid, click the bottom corner of the video and smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment, people. The comments and all these things boosts the YouTube algorithm. Obviously, ultimately, it grows our platform. So yeah, I hope you and your loved ones are all in good spirits. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, in some cases, good night. Now, I was reading on stuff online and I thought, you know what, let's see what you lot think and just have a discussion. So yeah, don't forget to get your comments in. Arsenal are stronger this season, strapping superstars, new physicality, and bringing in Ivan Toney could help them push City all the way. Now, this was a think piece on the Daily Mail by Sammy Mokbel where he praised us for our win against Manchester City. Obviously, William Saliba, the man mountain's got a lot going for himself, really, and he's a quality player, and I'm happy to have him. And we've got, you know, not just Saliba, but Gabriel individually. We've got two centre-halves that can be, I'm not saying the best, and I think more so Saliba could do it than Gabriel, but the best centre-backs in the Premier League and in the world, or some of the best that the game has to offer. And as a duo, I think there isn't many duos as a centre-half pairing that are better than them. Obviously, you've got Declan Rice, you've got Saka, you've got Martinelli, you've got Odegaard, you've got Timber who's injured. You've got a bunch of players that are good right now, very good, but have the potential to be incredible. So we're doing good things, much like our manager has the potential. So yeah, they bigged us up for that. Obviously, Declan Rice, bad boy midfielder, fantastic, larger than life personality. But the key part of this article, Toney in January, Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah and Kai Havertz as a false nine remain crucial to Arsenal's setup. But questions linger over whether Arsenal needs someone who can score 25 to 30 goals a season. You know, I do think Toney would be good as in the squad. I think at a better team than Brentford, or a more creative team, with the greatest of respect, he would score more goals. I love his mentality. There isn't too many household name strikers out there. He has got 18 months left on his deal, 12 months from the summer, so they're probably leaning towards selling him. But when you see everything from around 60 odd million, I'm all on that for Toney. When you start getting to 80 and 100, then for me, you might as well take that money and go back for a target that Arteta wanted in Vlahovic. You know, we tried to get him, or go for Osimhen, really and truly. And obviously, the one question mark you could have over Ivan Toney is how fit is he, assuming we signed him in January to hit the ground running, because he hasn't been able to play that much football, if any, during this ban. I do think there's every logic with Toney, bringing in Toney. I do think you look at our squad, I think if you could get a Pedro Neto or a right winger or someone that can deputise / compete with Saka, if you could get another striker to go with the mixture of Eddie Nketiah, Havertz and Jesus. For me, if you could get another pure central midfielder of the level of Declan Rice and Partey, maybe a couple of defensive options, I think we'd have a solid squad, really. Obviously, injuries can derail everyone, even Manchester City, as you've seen. But yeah, people, let me know your thoughts. It's a deficiency Arteta and Arsenal's recruitment team are taking very seriously. One name springs to mind, Ivan Toney, a striker Arsenal are coveting big time. It is understood that Toney is coveting Arsenal too. On the face of it, Toney is a perfect fit for Arsenal. The goals are a clear selling point, but Toney's character and physicality tick a lot of boxes for Arteta. But having spent more than 200 million in the summer, is there enough in the bank to make another substantial outlay, probably towards 80 million for Toney in January? If they do, would it impact their spending next summer? It probably would, but assuming we get into the Champions League again, you'd imagine some couple of other players leave, the ones that are on loan. You know, bit of creative accounting. We could do that. Every minute Arsenal are in trouble with FFP, and then we can actually get around it. I'll leave that to the accountants, people. So let me know your thoughts on Toney. The Metro has said Toney is keen on a move to Arsenal in the January transfer window. He's currently preparing to return from an 8th-month betting ban. He has been playing in behind closed doors friendlies as well, people. Arsenal not the only club allegedly looking at him. Chelsea are also plotting. Manchester United and Spurs could also allegedly join the race, people. So we'll have to see. It's thought Brentford won at least 80 million to part with their star striker, who has 68 goals and 21 assists in 124 games. We've been looking at Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord, allegedly the Mexican international, as a potential alternative. I think we're more likely to do that. I think Arsenal would like Toney, but I think we'll go after him. But I don't think if it doesn't make sense, I don't think we'll push the boat out in that regards, people. So we'll have to see where Tony's concerned. Arsenal are likely to be one of the main contenders to sign Wolves winger Pedro Neto in 2024, according to Fabrizio Romano. As you know, apparently we've had a long interest in him dating back to last summer and also his days at Lazio and Braga, actually. Romano has said we are still seeing plenty of rumours about Neto. And as I said last week, things are looking likely to happen for the Portuguese winger in 2024 in terms of a transfer. I wonder if his agent Mendes will force the boat out in January. He's been in great form. He's a key player to Wolves and what they're trying to achieve. They've stood by him with injuries and it's been justified because early in the season, you know, you look at him, you look at Bowen away from the Arsenal wingers, he's been hitting the ground running really. So I don't know for 50 million in January. Again, they would have to find another alternative. They would have to find another target. So it is what it is. Wolves said no to proposals in the summer and there is no guarantee that they will approve a sale in January, but let's see about 2024, whether that's January or the summer, because big clubs will arrive, people. Arsenal wanted Neto just over a year ago. They've always been interested in the player. They keep tracking him, but there are also other clubs following the situation. He's also been on the list for Arsenal, but it's nothing more concrete just yet. The race looks absolutely open. He's been linked with a bunch of clubs. He has 5 assists currently in 8 league games, people, and has shown his versatility on the left and on the right. But he has also been linked with Manchester United and Liverpool, and I'm sure together with Arsenal, those clubs would like him. Once again, as you can see, those are Romano's thoughts. Keeping up the theme with wingers, we all know Jamie Bonalt Gittins, forgive me for mispronunciations, has signed a new deal at Dortmund, but that hasn't stopped interest from a number of clubs, people. Chelsea, Newcastle, and saving the best till last in Arsenal Football Club continue to track the 19-year-old's progress over there at Borussia Dortmund, really. So I have to see. I'm sure a return back to London would do it doing well, but surely he's at the best place for his immediate development and game time at Dortmund, where I don't know necessarily if he's one of the first names on the team sheet, people. Again, Arsenal have joined the race. Everything from 14 million to around 30 odd million euros seems to be what he's valued at, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on in that regards. Apparently, Napoli have been linked with potentially signing Enzio from Brighton as a replacement for Victor Osimhen. As you know, Osimhen's been linked with Arsenal and a whole bunch of other teams. Jadon Sancho appears to still be at loggerheads with Erik ten Hag, and I do think you look at Arsenal, you know, none of our players are quite polished because of what we're doing as a club. You know, Saliba's quality, Declan Rice's quality, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, but they're nowhere near reaching their potential. Obviously, we have Gabriel Jesus as well, who also has a high ceiling. We're trying to bring goals into his game. And then you've got people like Kai Havertz as well, where, you know, Arteta clearly liked him, has an appreciation of his abilities, but we don't really know his position. He's played as a left-sided 8. He can play out wide and in the 10. Obviously, Arsenal fans probably more wanting to play as a 9 at the moment after not just in the Community Shield against City, but also in the latest game. He does give you that physical outlet. It feels like we've got a lot of project players, and I think Jadon Sancho would be one of those. On ability and my likability for the player, I think Jadon Sancho would be good at Arsenal. I think he'd be a good player in the squad, etc. But in terms of him, you know, again, I don't know about the Ten Hag stuff, but I don't think there'll be any problems with his attitude and things like that. But there's a lot of unearthed potential and a lot of question marks about Jadon Sancho. And another one that I feel is misprofiled. You know, when you think of wingers, maybe not so much this day and age, but you think of they're more inside forwards, and the guys in general in football who hug the touchline, they're not the most prolific. I think a bit like Reece Nelson, Jadon Sancho has been kind of misprofiled in that they're not really 1v1 demons. Of course, they've got a lot of quality 1v1. They can take you down the channels out wide and do you in. But I think Jadon Sancho's game, he don't really want to take you on. It's more little 1-2s, little intricate pieces of skill. On that, on where the position he plays, on his age and all of that, I'd be all for Jadon Sancho. But I just think we've got a lot of project players. There's no guarantee he's going to be able to immediately impact us as much as I think he's good. I think we probably need to go for Neto or someone that's going to be a bit more impactful in that regards. And the wages, really, you know, I don't know what he's on at Manchester United, and you know, I don't really care what he's on at Manchester United or what he gets at Arsenal, because not that I can pay for it, but I wouldn't be paying for it. But when I remove my emotion and my likeness for Jadon Sancho, I don't think it would be the right decision. But nonetheless, it could be an option. Apparently, there's been question marks over his training and application levels, which just because he's doing that at Man United allegedly doesn't mean he'll do that under Mikel Arteta. But as we know, as on top of your ability is how you apply yourself in training and how you carry yourself and being on time, and all of these sort of things are very important to Arteta. Sorry, and for Jadon Sancho, we've seen Arteta get rid of players for less than what you've done really over there. So we'll have to see. Apparently, he's yet to say sorry to Ten Hag, which, again, if the manager is question marking you in training, then you need to train harder. But what I would say is, to be fair to Jadon, we don't know anything. And also, as a player, which I've never been, you've got to give the manager no opportunity to say that. And it is in complete disarray at Manchester United. What I would say, I don't think Ten Hag is going to be sacked, but the way it's going, in theory, Jadon Sancho, probably based on the length of his contract, could probably outlast Ten Hag. But it might be an option to consider. West Ham still are linked with Emil Smith-Rowe. Again, it remains to be seen if he's going to get significant game time. But when you consider the running and the reception he got in the Champions League, I think he needs to stay. But if he's got any hopes of regular football playing in the Euros and things like that, he's going to have to not buck up his ideas, because I don't think that's fair, but he's really going to have to give Arteta every reason. I think you just look at Eddie Nketiah, who's now seeing the fruits of his labor. He couldn't buy a game. Now he's a key part. Smith-Rowe was once a key part. You can get there again, but you'd imagine if he does want to leave on loan in January or leave permanently between now and the summer, there'll be a whole bunch of clubs linked with him, and apparently West Ham have been linked with him again. I know Bowen signed a new deal, but if you lot can do us a little deal around Bowen, Smith-Rowe on loan, we can make something happen. So yeah, in that regards, people, let me know your thoughts on Ivan Toney, Pedro Neto, the Smith-Rowe thing we just went over, Jadon Sancho, and anyone else. I hope you lot are enjoying the video. I hope you lot have enjoyed the vid. Please do me a favor, don't forget to comment, hit the like button, and subscribe if you haven't. Most importantly, stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll link up again soon, man. Check out the rest of the other vids as well. One love.
There's always just that active red flag, defending.
I think it's like